Hey beautiful, Hannah here from Reality Awareness, Life Purpose Mentor and Intuitive Healer. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the rain is very heavy. It's kind of nice. I don't know, can you hear it? Can you let me know if you can hear it? It's really loud. It's really loud. Alright, just let me share this, and I'm going to just talk about combating overwhelm. There's been a lot of energies going on at the moment with people, hey Benjamin, feeling really intense energies with this moon and stuff like that. But one thing I do want to talk about just briefly, you can hear it, yeah, it's strong, hey? Strong, it's loud. Okay, let me share this. Sorry, I'm going to share this and then I'm going to be present with you. Because, yeah, this overwhelm thing, it can be, there's signs for overwhelm and what that's showing you, right? Okay. It's only just started raining too. I'm like, should I go live? Because I just come out of the Life Purpose Mentorship. Doing a live stream in there. Looking, hey, yes I am. Thank you. Doing a live stream in there because for the month of May, oh my goodness, you guys have to keep an eye out this week. I can't tell you yet. But keep an eye out if you really want to accelerate your awakening into your life purpose and actually living that. You need to keep aware and keep your eyes open this week because it's being released and it's all in the Life Purpose Mentorship, of course. Oh, it's raining there too. Stormy and thunderous. This is like a steady downpour. There hasn't been any stormy stuff yet. Okay, cool. So the sharing's done. Okay, so talking about combating overwhelm, right? And the first thing, when overwhelm steps in, when you're feeling overwhelmed, basically I need you to check in. There's kind of four main factors, right? And the biggest thing about overwhelm is usually we have just learnt something new. And overwhelm happens when our brain is rewiring a new neural pathways, and it's something will be so amazing, oh my goodness, this is amazing, and you learn all about it, and then it's just whoa, and then you kind of, you're also kind of realizing how you merge your new reality with all this information. You're just this is amazing, and then your old reality, and you're oh, how does this kind of fit? And then you're wow, that rain's really loud, and then it's you're whoa, how do I do? And then you're kind of stepping back because one, you don't know how to merge the two, but two, it's literally your brain neural pathways are rewiring so that you can understand the new reality or the new thing. And I liken that, and I always say this, when you learn to drive a car, it was really overwhelming, right? It was gear stick and brakes and how do you do, and then you've got to look for cars all at once, right? And now you drive from A to B and you don't even really think about it. So whenever you're learning something new, always remember, if you start feeling overwhelmed by something, it's usually just because you're trying to figure out how the two realities merge, and you've just learned something new. So your brain neural pathways are rewiring themselves, and then you're just trying to literally go, okay, how do I do this new thing? It's if you decide to take a new course or go to a new group, or literally anything ultimately. If you really think about it, anything. Or if you wanted to redo your garden or even a house or a closet or something, it's a little bit overwhelming in the start, right? Because you're ooh, I don't know. And then you kind of get into a flow of it, and then it becomes normal, and then you can drive from A to B and not even think about it, okay? So overwhelm, the combating overwhelm, the very first thing is just okay, have I learned something new recently? And am I trying to implement that into my old life? How does that work, right? It's the number one thing. Hey, Linda. Let me know if you ever feel overwhelmed at times, like, and if you can think back to a recent time where you've been overwhelmed, like, has it been when you've just learned something new? Like, let me know, comment below and let me know if that's the case for you. I'm going to give you a couple more ideas of what to do in that space as well. Hey Avidesh, I think it was your birthday. Was it yesterday? Happy birthday for yesterday. I think I saw that. Yesterday or today. Hey. So with the overwhelm stuff, it's like, how do you know, like, what do you do? So like I said, the first thing to check is like, have I just learned something new, right? And then the other thing you can do is a brain dump. So give me some love hearts if you guys have heard of a brain dump before. A brain dump is literally just writing down all your ideas. You're like, okay, like if you've got a list to do, oh, it was yesterday, happy birthday for yesterday. You got a list to do and it's like all these, you know, things, and you're like, I don't know where to start, and you know, you kind of like go and you're almost paralyzed in a sense of like, I don't know where to start. Literally, like, the best thing to use are post-it notes and write down one idea on each post-it note and just, you know, cover it out. So I've literally just gone through and done that for our Life Purpose Mentorship coming up for May. So if you actually get post-it notes, like, it's okay to have a list, yes, but if you get post-it notes and you can write one idea per post-it notes, put them all over, and then you can segregate them into, you know, their kind of categories or, you know, scenarios. Really awesome if you're creating a course or something like that, but even just your day-to-day life. Like, if you've literally got so much stuff you don't know where to start, and you've got an old life and you've got a new life and you just learned something new and you want to implement it, like, literally get out some post-it notes and start writing one idea on each post-it notes, and literally get all that out and literally dump it all out. Because then you can be like, yeah, not that one actually, and you know, you can start to categorize it that way. So it helps to like, get it out, right? So it will help to combat overwhelm in that way. Okay. So 2 more things, and then I will I'll speak to what you just shared there, Casey. So the 2 other things, so you've got overwhelm, so you've just learned something new, okay, your brain neural pathways are over rewiring, and you're trying to understand how you're going to merge your old life with your new life. Do a brain dump with the post-it notes. And then the other thing to check always is about clearing your energy. So if you're carrying somebody's energy, if you've just been to the shopping center, or if you haven't cleared your chakras for like months or years, you're going to be pretty energetically dirty. So cleaning your energy also is really helpful, especially if you've just been like, you know, around people or around a conversation, or a, you know, with a friend or an ex or a family member or something like that, and then you get home and you start feeling overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know what to do, but you were feeling fine before you left or whatever. Definitely clear energy. Yes, brain dumps and all of that as well, but clearing your energy is kind of like if you haven't downloaded my 5-step guide to clearing negative energy, just comment in the comments and I will make sure you get a copy of that, because that is like the #1 thing. When something's not working, the first thing to do is make sure your energy is clear. It's like #1 no-brainer. Then obviously, like, you know, you've got basic self-care, which is in that as well, but you really need to be clearing your energy, right? So that's #3. And then #4 thing to check in with combating overwhelm is asking yourself, is this in alignment? Because there's a fine line between something not being in alignment and not what you're meant to be doing, and learning something new and it's brought you alive, and it's just basically overwhelm of how to, you know, how are you, how's it supposed to work? Like, you're trying to understand it, basically, like you're literally trying to understand it. So when you ask, is this in alignment, you need to be mindful with the like listening of, you know, okay, is this what I'm meant to be doing, or is this just not what I'm meant to be doing because it's too hard? Now, when you step onto your life purpose and awaken life purpose, no one said it's going to be easy. But if you know in your heart that you're meant to do it, and if you whatever you learnt new was exciting and you're like, oh yes, like, and it brought you alive. That aliveness is what you need to follow. Now, if you kind of hit a wall and you go into overwhelm, you're like, oh my God, like, just because you've learnt something new and you go into overwhelm doesn't mean you're not meant to do it. If it feels right in your heart, even though your brain's like, no, it's not. If it lights you up and you have these deep, strong knowing that you're meant to do that, you need to trust that over your mind and just understand that you're learning something new, your brain's rewiring, and, you know, it's not like you have to force through it. Sometimes we need to push through, but it's not that, you know, like, you can just step back for a couple of days, like, let the energy come, you know, in. Because the other thing as well, and I teach this in the Life Purpose Mentorship with Lightfilled Yoga, is this powerful little symbol. Now, this is the infinity symbol, and everybody knows this infinity symbol. And the thing with the infinity symbol is that in each of our chakras, we have an inflow and an outflow, right? The outflow is like, you know, we discover this new information. It's like, oh my goodness, and we're learning all this information. So it's coming back in, and then it's like, oh, this is so overwhelming. Like, there's an inflow and outflow. There's an integration process, and then we do something with that. We integrate something, we learn something new, and then we integrate it, right? And we do something with that in the world. So it's really important to remember there's like an inflow and outflow. The tide comes in and the tide comes out, like, twice a day, right? Like, that amount of water is moving every day. It's quite phenomenal. Sometimes I go down the beach and the tide's way out, and I'm like, how does that do that twice a day? Like, it's phenomenal, right? So always remember, and, you know, the other thing too is, like, what is it they say, our brain or our eyes only take in like a tiny percentage of actually what there is around us, because it would just be so overwhelming all the time. So always remember, you know, like, there's so much around us all the time, and that's why it's really important to keep your energy clear, clean and centered all the time. And that's why I teach in the 5-step guide to be able to do that while you're walking from the shopping center to your car, so that you don't bring all that energy home with you and overwhelm you even more, okay? But usually the number one thing with overwhelm is you've just learned something new and you're like, oh my goodness, and then it's like, oh, how do I figure this out with my life, and how do I make this happen, right? It's usually the number one thing. But there are 4 main steps just there to check in with, or 5 if you include the infinity symbol, the inflow and the outflow of energy that's always moving, just like the oceans of the tides. Then that will help you to remember to move through overwhelm without being overwhelmed about the overwhelm, right? Hey, Kylie. Okay, give me some love hearts if that has helped you a little bit to keep in mind about the about overwhelm. All right, so Casey says, my friend today threw all this conspiracy stuff at me. Like, threw it at you, I think she means. That I can't trust the information I'm watching, that it's not as clear, as cut as dry as I thought it was. Seems like everything is convoluted in some way. I don't know what information to trust. Like, I want to be aware and not ignorant, but I don't want to turn into a paranoid. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Paranoid hermit. Yeah, totally get you there. I'm curious, Casey, what were you talking to him about that sparked them saying that to you? If you can please let me know what you were sharing with them that made them have that sort of a comment back, so then I can help you tap into that there. Like, I've got a lot to say to it, but I'm just curious what they were saying to you. So Linda says, I try to stay away from the outside influence. Is that my truth or my experience in my present moment? Yeah, it's always like awesome, Linda. I love that, because it's so about that. It's so around, you know, is this mine? Is this my energy? Is this my belief system? Is this my truth? Is this what I want to believe? Does that resonate with my heart? Like, everything. And that is your truth filter. In Lightfilled Yoga for the throat chakra, we are, you know, like, it's literally like we're expanding our throat chakra, like a truth filter, yeah? Because if our truth filter is not clear, activated and switched on, we're like swallowing other people's truth. So we're swallowing the media, we're swallowing other people's beliefs, we're swallowing that everyone should say that it's all a conspiracy and like now I need to freak out and like I don't know who to listen to, right? Who do you listen to? You listen to your heart. And the truth in your heart is that, okay, so this is, I'm curious about this too, Casey, for you, because it's like the people who usually are running around saying all that stuff are in so much fear. And I feel like my big job and purpose is to wake them up to they're spreading more fear, right? Like conspiracy theories, like, you know, there's so much. Like, how far do you want to go into that stuff? Is sharing more about conspiracy theories going to help the world wake up? I don't know. And maybe, you know, I'm kind of like, well, it's like there's people like us here that sit in our heart and know there's the whole picture going on, because those people spreading conspiracy theory things may one day wake up to the truth that, oh, there's actually nothing to be fearful of. And then those people who listen to them will be doing the conspiracy. Like, it kind of just unfolds. It's almost like a stage of awakening, right? Because we awaken to the truth eventually, that the truth is there is love and there is no reason to fear. And when we start spreading that sort of stuff, like, it's just, we're literally spreading fear because we're in fear. Yeah. And it's not like they're purposely doing it. Like, people like that usually have, like, people that are spreading all stuff about conspiracies and are like, so like anal about it and like freak out because you don't believe them or whatever. Like, they're just in so much fear. And do you know what that is? It's the fact that they see all that in the world just like we do. Like, it's there, right? And it's the thing of like, it gets to a point where people like us, and I'm sharing this because this is the journey I've gone through to get to here, okay? It's like, there's a thing of like, there's so much wrong in the world and we know it's not right. We want to fix it. We want to change it, but we don't know how to. And so we feel powerless because we know that it's not right. We know that something needs to be done, but at the end of the day, we're just one person in this world of like however many billion or however many is on the planet, more than that. And it's like, when we can, like, it's just a sense of a loss of power, literally. Like, the light worker has lost their power and they're in fear because they're like, well, this is not right. Like, you know, they sense all that fear. Like, they know, like, they've woken up from the slumber and it's kind of like, well, this has got to stop. I'm going to find an article I wrote exactly on this stuff. So, the truth about why you fear the government and all this sort of jazz. No group reading today. I've just spoken about combating overwhelm. So I did see a comment there I'm going to share. Okay, the truth about why you're so... Okay, there's two here that I'm going to share. So your demons are really the cloak to your own brilliance. And the other article is also like the truth about why you're so scared about the government and what the government's doing. Literally because you feel powerless about what to do about it. And what we can do about it is help us. Hey, Shelley. If there's anyone else here for the first time, please let me know. I forget there's new people. Lovely to have you here. So the thing we can do about that sort of thing is do our own personal development and work on our shadows, because our shadows are the fear. Our shadows are what keep us in the fear. And when we, you know, when light workers wake up, right? Because it's like people wake up, but when the light workers wake up from waking up, we realize that the truth is that in the heart and in love and in wholeness, that everything is a reflection. And it's kind of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Did out here come first? Did in here come first? Like, literally. And when we can own our stuff, when we do our own personal development work and integrate the darkest parts of humanity, which is shadow work, that's when we step out of fear. That's when we reclaim our power back. That's when we awaken our life purpose. And that's when we actually create something in the world that is going to not even fix that stuff. It's like totally counterbalancing it without us even needing to focus on that at all. Because it's a reflection of internal stuff going on, right? So Casey, I'm just reading. So we were talking about the subject of veganism and the animal agriculture being the main cause of climate change. Oh my God, sorry, you're just making me like remember when I was back in those days and like so anti. It's like, you know, like if the truth, like I'll read the rest of your comment in a minute, but it's like, and that's the same thing, like the conspiracy theories and like we're going around spreading all this fear and like at the core, like they literally just don't know what to do and feel powerless, and they just feel that that's the best thing is to tell everybody about it, which is awesome. Like it's a stage of awakening, right? And I have compassion for them, can help hold them there, but hold them with love because I see where they're at. And it's at that point, and I share this with so much love because I used to be that person that going around, like when we really understand the truth in our power comes from what we think and feel in our body and aura and what that's contributing to the planet, that if we're in a state of judgment about what other people are doing, whether it's the government, whether it's people slaughtering animals, whether it's people living their life, there's one finger pointing at that person, there's three fingers pointing back at them, and it's where we need to again own how we're feeling about what's going on out there, because what's going on out there is a reflection about what's going on in here. So he believes it's all pretty much bullshit, and he was saying that Cowspiracy, a documentary I hold in high regard, is funded by Monsanto. It just felt like an attack on my personal beliefs. I felt like my whole identity was rocked, and it really angered me. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's in that sense of like, again, okay, so a couple of things here. Who do you want to hang around? And it's also in that, you know, when you feel triggered by something like that, it's like, again, it's this sort of thing, right? So when you're triggered by what he said, it is like looking internally, and the kind of intuitive message that I'm really getting for you, Casey, though, is like, do you want those people around you? And I just feel like it's strengthening your value system and what's important to you and the people you have around you in your life. Now, the other kind of factor on top of that is like, if you have any like doubts or beliefs in yourself around like your beliefs, right? If you have any doubts and beliefs about yourself, about what you believe, they will be reflected to you by that person as well. Yeah. And the other message that I just got then too is I used to cop a lot of this sort of stuff when I would be sharing my beliefs to people who just didn't fucking get it at all, right? And it wasn't until I found this amazing resource called live streaming and blogging that I don't really encounter that much stuff anymore, because I've got my outlet to share my voice. So I'm curious, Casey, do you, if you can let me know, do you do blogs, live stream, like, you know, like, do you do this sort of thing, and do you get your voice out there? And if you do already do that, well, then I would be looking at, you know, like, it just feels like it's not testing your value system, it's strengthening your value system and what you believe, in that sense of like if I'm getting the intuitive message for you, I'm giving you a reading, Casey. Thank you for bringing this up too, because it's really important, because there is a lot of people stepping up at the minute. It feels like you've shifted to another level, and when we do that, you're you know, like, again, that's what I was saying, it's like he's coming in to show you your fears about stepping up to the next level in your business, in your life, and that sort of thing, right? So I'm curious if you do any shadow integration, because shadow integration healing would be super powerful for you right now. Can you guys let me know if you know anything about, that's everyone on the live stream, let me know if you know about shadow work, how to do shadow work, if you just say yes or no. Because then that will give me an idea of where to go from there. But yeah, it just feels like literally, Casey, like you've literally stepped up another level in your life, in your like business, in what you're doing, like whatever you're doing, your life purpose, like you've literally just shifted. And when you do that, people around you reflect your fears, your belief system, or your fears around what you do. It's like, you know, we just kind of step up and we're like, oh, like we know it's right for us. But if there's any sort of doubts or fears about what we know is right for us, which happens at every level we shift to, someone will come around and then they'll show us, oh, there's that little fear that I need to integrate there, right? It's all it is there, right? So you've heard of shadow work. Yeah, awesome. So let me know if that helps you, Casey, because that is that thing as well. It's just like, you know, do you really want to hang around these people? You know, and then at its core, it's like if these are people that you need to hang around with, like family or something like that. Yeah, I love hearing people knowing about shadow work. It is really how the world's going to evolve, along with other things, but that's a big core thing. What was I going to say, Casey? Oh, so because if there's a way, if there's like this person is like you can't, like you need to be around them, it then comes into a space of having, you know, your tribe and people you can talk to about your belief systems and what you value in life, so that you can share openly your heart and have people around you that support your belief system and that are like just like you, like they're your tribe, right? Because I know, I so know that feeling of being pulled down and ripped to shreds for what you believe is true in your heart. It is gut-wrenching. It's heartbreaking, and it literally rocks you to your core. Like, how can they say that? Like, you were just sharing your heart, right? So how can they, why would they say that? Like, that's what I believe, right? So they would be the things I'd be looking at in yourself there is, you know, like, are these the sort of people you want to be hanging around? If you have to be, well, then it's about, you know, voicing what is right for you in your heart as well. Yeah, exactly. And so the thing is, I just read your comment there. So the thing is with that is, you know, like literally if you do shadow work around every person that has an opinion that triggers you, i.e. him or her, and then, you know, because of what you're passionate about, when you're sharing that, if someone else triggers you or puts you down or like you get rocked by what they say, that's your key, that's your ding, 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 to do a shadow integration. And the more you do that, shadow integration meditation, the more you do that with that particular person or that particular person, whoever triggers you, go into that shadow healing meditation and do that, then you're going to grow and shift to a space of like, because they're literally just reflecting back to you, like your, I don't know if it's your fears or like there's a part of you that not doubts what you believe, but it just happens, right? In a sense that, I don't know how to describe it properly, but literally if you do a shadow integration meditation with every single person that you get triggered to about that, it's going to like shift you to like a new level of being able to serve the world with what you're passionate about and your purpose. And that integration of those people, it's like the sense I'm getting, I don't know if you're sensing this as I'm talking, but it's like when you integrate them, okay, so that person and that person and that person, it's like you'll shift to energetically, you'll integrate them, you'll shift to a new level, so you'll have more power, right, in being able to share what you're passionate about to the world without those people pulling you down almost, if that makes sense. Like it's a real energetic thing that I'm speaking of here, so I don't know if that makes sense. I am seeing your comments coming through, everyone. I will get to them in a minute. So, okay, Casey, like I don't have all the smart, intelligent answers and I feel stupid or naive, but I feel so called to veganism. Yeah, I don't want to blame and shame people. I just want to save the animals from their suffering. Yeah, and like if you literally have a voice, like blogging, live streaming, like you'll attract your tribe, right? And this is like I talk about in the Life Purpose Mentorship. This is a big part that we talk about with attraction marketing and attracting and calling in your tribe, because then you're bringing in like people around you who love what you do, support what you do, believe in what you do, and then they're inspired by you having your voice. I'm getting goosebumps saying this, or truth bumps. They're inspired by you to then also go out into the world themselves with like, whoa, she's doing it, like, you know, and you might create something, you know, that's going to shift the world, right? And this is what I'm talking about, where people going around that are like bagging other people out and stuff like that, they're in so much fear, and they literally, like, if you know, because what that person said back to you was he believes it's all bullshit, and he was saying, okay, was funded by Monsanto. So like in that sense of, okay, so you know how I said earlier, like people like that are just so in fear, and at the core they're powerless because they don't know what to do, because it's such a massive problem in the world. It's wrong, like whatever the problem, right? Whether it's veganism, like whatever that is going on, the hunger, like whatever, it's wrong. But because they know it's wrong, but they don't know how to fix it, they feel powerless. And when somebody feels powerless, they try to overpower whoever it is in front of them so that they feel that sense of safety, because they're literally feeling so powerless about what to fucking do with the world. So they just kind of push it away, if that makes sense. So yeah, so you said that makes sense. Oh yeah, so exactly. So yeah, and the other thing I was going to say, so Cass has said join a vegan movement in your area and lead by example without trying to convert people. Yeah, 100%. And like I was saying, you know, like before I was blogging and live streaming, like I'd cop so much of that as well. And like, and even, you know, in the start especially, and I just spoke about this in the Life Purpose mentorship tonight too, like when you first start stepping up and speaking your voice through blogging, live streaming, even though you're calling in your tribe and you are attracting really supportive people into, you know, your space and energetic field, there is still people going to be around you that start putting you down, like family members, friends, that sort of thing. And what that is about is, say I'm going to give the example of blogging and live streaming. So when you start stepping up, sharing your voice, it's that sense of, so like your friend or your family member will see your live stream, or maybe they won't, but their friend will see it, and then their friend will talk to the family member or friend, and they'll be like, what is she doing, blah, blah, blah. And then your family member or friend gets embarrassed because they don't know how to explain what you do, and they don't really understand what you're doing either. So they feel embarrassed. So they might say whatever they say, and then they'll come to you and go, what are you doing? Like, you shouldn't be doing this, or like blah, 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 right? And then you'll be like, oh, okay. Or you'll just be like, oh, what do I do with that, right? So it's really important to remember, everyone on this live stream, if you do start stepping up and you feel really called to do it, do it. Especially in the beginning, like I said, do it, but expect that sort of a response. And when you have that understanding that, especially the people closest to you, if they don't understand what you do, and they're going to get people that come to them and go, what are they doing? And then they'll, like, they don't know what to do with that, and they feel embarrassed just because they don't, it's the same powerless situation, right? It's a lot of solar plexus stuff going on here tonight. So it is about, you know, having that awareness and still doing it anyway, but having the supportive tribe around you who totally gets it. So in the Life Purpose Mentorship, this is what I support you guys with, like 100%, about how to step up, what to do with people like that. So exactly all this sort of thing of, oh, but where do you get your protein? Fuck, where do cows get their protein? Geez, they only eat grass. Like, come on. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Whole nother story. But we get it, right? We get it. That's why you're here. And I love you guys for that. So yeah, so I hope that really helps you, Casey. And yeah, and in that sort of thing, I just want to share too, like when you say you feel stupid or naive, like it's literally because we know so much about the bigger picture. And it's like, how do you explain that to somebody who doesn't fucking get it? Like, you just can't. And so it does make you feel stupid, because you're like, where do you start explaining it, right? It's the same thing as, like, I remember, like I always fly to New Zealand, so I fly out of the country to drop my daughter off to see her father fairly regularly, right? And as I was coming into my power in the past 18 months, and I'm like, you know, in the very start, I was like, you know, you've got to write on the customs form what you do, like your occupation. And I was like, oh, yoga teacher or entrepreneur. And then when I stepped in and really owned my gift as an intuitive healer and life purpose mentor, I wrote on the customs form, like, I'm an intuitive healer. And I literally got stopped at the customs thing, and he's like, how do you explain this? Or what, you know, what is this? And I'm like, how do you explain the universe? I was like, where do you start with that? And whatever that intuitive, where that came from, I was like, thank you for that save. He's just like gone, yep, here you go. And I was like, you know, it's exactly that, right? So yeah, the shadow work is like total how you you know, you integrate that. And as I said, like in the start, there's a lot of it, and then it gets less and less because you've integrated it more and you feel more confident in what you're doing. You know what you're speaking, you know, you get on live stream, you blog, like, you know what you're talking about. And then you get people who share your work and they love your work and they totally get it. And you're like, yeah, and you get more confident. And then you realize the people that, you know, that hate on you, and, you know, like, you learn to separate yourself from it in a sense of like, yes, you need to own that you're attracting them. You need to do your shadow work. You need to do your own internal healing, and it does get less and less. And then when people come along and they do that, you have more awareness and you're like, oh, this is going on for you. Oh, you're in a lot of fear right now. Oh, you're really scared. Oh, you really hate what I do. And then it gets to the point you're like, I don't even, like, you get to a point where you're like, you just don't even say anything. You just, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, how do you explain the universe? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just, you don't have a voice for it, for them. You don't even speak to it. Like, I've learned, I'm at a point where I just block. I'm like, oh, just because it's like, I don't have time and energy. Well, I could put time and energy into trying to convert someone, or have a text argument on Facebook or something, trying to get them to understand what I'm doing. But at the end of the day, they could have had a bad day at work. Their girlfriend could have just dumped them. They got triggered by something that I said and they're not owning their shit, and they won't. You know, I'm just like, if somebody, like, you guys on my stream, on my feed, like, you own your shit. You guys ask me questions, you go and do your work, and I fucking love you for it, right? That's why you're here. People who, it's not people who challenge me. I used to give people a bit of time and space, or like hold them to, like, are you going to wake up here? And I still kind of do that. It's very intuitive, and, you know, it's just like I tune in to where and that. But it's like, mysterious occupation on the flight card. Yeah. So it's just, you know, it does get less and less. So yeah, I'm glad that helps you, and maybe that guy will help a couple others as well. So I'm going to read these comments. Yeah, one time, like, on another part of the, well, that one I just shared about when I was in Australia and I came back, because I come back with no luggage because I fly over and fly back, so I don't have any, you know, I've only got carry-on luggage. And the guys, he's like, oh, you don't have any, like, healing potions or herbs or anything like that? And I said, no. It's like, no, most of my work is done spiritually, metaphysically. Okay, I see all these other questions. Let me answer them. Okay, Shelley says, I feel I can't communicate with my spouse, but we have been together 15 years. I'm confused because I always feel nervous talking to him now. Yeah, also going through a change. Yeah, so that's the thing. I did a live stream on, you know, people like us talking to people who don't get it. Let me share the link in the comments if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend watching this one. I think it's about half an hour watch. About why we do that. Like, and it's because we're so intuitive, or, you know, we sense so much that we pick up their subconscious, unconscious stuff. And most of the time, they're not even conscious of it. And it's the same thing with that powerlessness thing I just spoke about, right? And it's like, we pick up their unconscious stuff. They're not even conscious of it. They get triggered and pissed off and then turn around and say we're crazy or whatever it is, because, and we're just like, oh, and then we start doubting our intuition and stuff because we're like, oh, maybe that wasn't right. But what we've just done is picked up their unconscious stuff that they're not even aware of. But when we learn to, you know, use our intuitive gifts, you know, and strengthen our muscles and do our all internal work and have this awareness, we become aware of their unconscious stuff. We realize it. We're like, oh shit, that's their unconscious stuff. We also realize, oh, they don't even know about that. They're not even aware of it. And then we just hold that space for them, whether it's a day, a week, months, years, whatever. And then eventually they might say, oh, I just realized. And you, in your mind, you're like, yeah, I knew that, right? But you don't even turn around to them and you say, you know, I already knew that, right? You don't even say that. You just learn to hold space for them. So it is tricky. It is a practice. It is a skill. And it is something that I think every empath should learn. So I just shared the YouTube link. I highly recommend you watching that, Shelley. It will help you to understand that. So why you doubt yourself, hide and shy away from your gift is because you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. So let me just check here. Okay, yeah, awesome. Shadow work, shadow work. Okay, so just checking these other comments. Okay, Linda says, I don't know how to do the inner work. I hear all my darkness has come out, like past life cellular memories, but it's not. Maybe I don't go deep enough, or fear of it. So when you say like you hear all your, oh, it has to come out. Yeah. So yeah, people do feel scared about it. And it's, you know, a lot of that has to do is if you, like there's kind of stages, and this is why in Trust Your Intuition in my course, I teach it in certain modules. Like there's a reason why there's a certain order of the modules, right? Because it's like we become aware, we learn about our emotions and what we're feeling, and that's okay. And then we learn to resource through our spiritual connection. And then we do like family healing and dynamics. And then we can step into the deeper subconscious past life fears, shadow work and stuff like that. Because if we don't have, you know, like a lot of fear comes from our inner child being scared. So, you know, like if you feel, you know, scared about it, you know, you have to do it, like start working with your inner child is like, you know, number one sort of thing. Obviously your spiritual connection to your guides, which you guys are all pretty tapped into here. So it then does drop into kind of like the inner child work, and then drops into shadow work after that. And then past life and stuff like that, because it all stems from there. So, okay. Yeah, not your place to try and awaken people, but at the same time, you do have a purpose that has something along those lines. But it is about, you know, and this is what I deeply go into in the Life Purpose Mentorship, it is about calling in the people who are ready to wake up. Like every single person on this planet has a life purpose, and every single person has a purpose that attracts a certain person, right? Like we've all got a unique life purpose, we've all got a unique resonance, we've all got a unique vibration, and people who like me may not like you, and people who like you don't like me, but they'll listen to you saying the similar sorts of things that I say, but they'll listen to you but not me, right? And so they'll wake up from you. And that's why I'm really passionate about getting people on their life purpose, because I wouldn't care if you guys came and did Trust Intuition and, you know, did, you know, the Life Purpose Mentorship, and then you started doing readings and you started teaching about the chakras, like obviously not copying my content word from word, but if you feel called to do like similar sorts of things, like, you know, and be somebody who helps people waken their consciousness, like I'm all for that, because you have a specific resonance that will attract certain people to you that are not attracted to me, and I want them to wake up too. Like this is how we wake the world up. So yeah, it's not your responsibility to wake people up, but there are people who are already waking up, who are waiting for you to step into your leadership role to support them in your life journeys, in your life lessons, in what you've learned and how you have integrated that, and then how you teach that to support them. That is what, you know, like a big part of this is why we all have, again, goosebumps saying that again, or truth bumps, like every time I like hit the truth is like that, right? Okay, so yeah, because you said something else there. Let me just check I'm just not missing these comments. Okay, Shelley says, I agree. Casey, same here. It hurts big time, and I was told it's me. Best not to say anything at all, but it hurts me inside. Yeah, so with that, Shelley, too, I just said my necklace, the clear quartz. It is that sense of, you know, like for me personally, I've tried to be in relationships where they don't get it. And I'm like, you know, yeah, I can accept them and we can live like that. And then like in alignment for me personally, I was like, you know what? No, you know, and that's just me personally. I just work through my own values and what's important to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty happy to be single for the rest of my life. Like I've got a certain standard, like someone needs to really be on the same level as me. Like I've just been through so many relationships that I'm like, I'm really clear about that now, and I'm really not settling for anything less. So it was the same with you, Casey, when I said, you know, like, do you really want to be around those people? And I know for some people, we've always got a choice, but in our current life situation, we may not feel like we've got a choice to be around them right then. So Shelley, please watch that YouTube video that I shared in the comments, the why you doubt yourself, hide and shy away from your gifts, your intuition, because as you said, it's like it's just better not to say anything, and that's true, but we can still love that person, we can still be with that person, we can still have an amazing relationship. Like I've seen it with my mentor, and that's why I tried to do in my relationship, but I got clear on myself. I'm like, actually I don't want that. I want something else. So it was just me getting clear on myself, but I know it's possible because my mentor freaking been married for 20 years to someone who's not spiritual at all, right? So I know it's possible, and I've seen it, and I like, they're happily married, and she is spiritual as fuck, right? And so intuitive. So it's like there's a way to sense so much stuff and be clear about what's your stuff, what's their stuff, who do you talk to about what. And it's not that you're hiding yourself from that person, it's just that you know what to say to help them understand you, and then you have your tribe who totally understands, so you can get your passion out with people like you and me, right? So yes, please watch that YouTube video, Shelley, it will definitely help you. Okay, so afraid of the haters, yeah, and if you just look at people who hate on you as, you know, like your fears, so like I said, at any level you step up, there will be people who reflect stuff to you, and they're your shadows. Like those people in front of you, they're your shadows. You talk about being, I think it was, who said they're scared to look at that? Linda, I think it was. Yeah, so scared to look at shadows or anything like that. Like they're the people right in front of you. They're your shadows. So there's no need to fear them. If that, you know, helps to take the fear out of you, like just the mind shift. So yeah, so not your place to try and wake people up. Yeah, and that's the thing, like it's not your responsibility to wake people up, but you know, it is your responsibility to follow what your heart's calling you to do, for your soul's purpose. And I mean, that might not be waking people up, that could be like working on the earth, it could be environmentalism, like, but you're still waking people up. Do you know what I mean? I guess that's why I'm like, well, it's in some way it's going to wake people up. But it, you know, it's not your responsibility to try and make people wake up who are not ready to wake up, because that's like, I was going to say pulling teeth or something, but I don't know what that saying is. I'm trying to think of. Okay. Cassie says, shadow work starts with journaling, get it all out, be aware of the issues and triggers. Yeah, it is a good place to start. Journaling helps you to become aware of your reality. Journaling helps you to be conscious of your thoughts, and choose what you actually want to think instead. And, you know, there's actual specific processes, like there's a specific shadow integration meditation. There's other processes I teach in Trust and Intuition that gets deeper into that as well, rather than just meditation as well. So, Casey says, don't settle for anything less than what you want. Yes, it's your heart, right? And this is the biggest thing where people doubt themselves and they don't trust themselves and anything like that, because like when Trow wants to come inside, it's that sense, Casey, with your example. So like, you know, you're sharing your heart, what you believe, what you're passionate about, and then somebody just shuts you down because they know it's a massive fucking problem on the planet, and they just feel powerless at what to do, so then they overpower, right? It's like, you know, there's so many scenarios on the planet like that. So, and then, but what you know, were doing is like, you know, if you were to listen to that person, then you would shut down your heart, and that's where we swallow other people's truth. That's when we get confused. That's when we get sick. That's when we go off path. That's when we get depressed, because we're carrying other people's beliefs and the media and don't do this, do that. And like, it basically, we're just carrying everyone else's fear because they don't know what to do, right? But when you can be really clear that you're passionate about that, and you just become mindful about who you're speaking, you know, to about that. And if you ask yourself another question, it's like, how can I share my message with the world today? What's the most aligned action that I can do to share my message with the world? And listen to what your soul is telling you to do. Could be blogging, could be live streaming, could be writing a book, you know, it could be creating a movie, I don't know, like, you know, listen to that. Yeah. Okay. So yes, ain't nothing wrong with raising the bar. Hell no. And that's what I was getting for you, was really about you valuing yourself and like who you're hanging around, was like the first thing I said. So, you know, like valuing your time, energy, who you're spending time with, all that sort of thing. Hey Tamsin. New moon and new download of info has floored me. Yeah, it's full moon. It's full moon. The light is being shone on things, yeah? And yeah, it's been heavy energies. Like the past week has been heavy energy. The past 24 hours has been like anger and, you know, There's a big theme, a big collective theme at the moment. I'm not good enough, doubting yourself, like all this stuff coming up. If you've got those sorts of thoughts going on, it's not just you, it's collective. Don't buy it and still do your purpose work anyway. Do not let it distract you from what your soul is calling you to do, because people need you. Yeah, super heavy for full moon energy here. Yeah, it's fucking heavy, right? It's really heavy. So Tamsin said, felt great last week, whether it's all thought process and manifestation. I need to do shadow work. Don't know where to start. Where are you up to in Trust Intuition, Tamsin? Please let me know, because yeah, let me know anyway. But the shadow work is in, if you don't want to share that on live, you can send me a message. But I'm just curious where you're up to in Trust Intuition, because I don't think you're there at shadow work yet, and I know what you're going through. Like, I know what you've been up to. Module 4. Oh, it's in module 4. And that's the thing with this consciousness, like wherever you're up to in the course, like whatever you're going through, the next videos and the next module, it's all right there. It's like, you know, you start experiencing it and then you watch the video and you're like, oh, this is what's going on, right? So, ding! That makes sense. You need to do shadow work. Yes, you do. You do know where to start. You just turn up to the next video training module, like in module 4 that you're up to, and it will just, it's all right there in front of you. I love that. I love that. This is how this consciousness and intuition works, right? Okay. Lovely to have you on live stream, Narissa. Oh, all right. So this started off as a, what is it? A live stream about how to combat overwhelm, and we've spoken about many different things tonight, so I hope this has helped you. Well, it's nighttime here. I know it's morning for some of you as well, so thanks for joining me live. So how's everyone feeling now? Have you guys done the free meditation, the Next Wave Ascension Healing and Activation? Let me know if you'd like a free copy of that download, because that is free. You don't even need to give me your email for it. My mentors would probably go, what are you doing? But yeah, just watch the next video, like even if it's just one. Thanks, Michelle. Just watch the next one. Wooch, you're just gonna have to wait, mate. Woochie's wanting to come inside. My chihuahua sits at the door. Woof, let me in because I'm a chihuahua. Whereas my German Shepherd's just sitting on the bed. She's like, yeah. Okay, I saw another comment there. I'm just trying to find the link for the Ascension Healing Meditation, because I've shared it. Okay, Casey says, oh, heck yeah. So much fear in the governments and propaganda, and multi-million-dollar industries, yeah. I could be scared of it, but I want to transcend all that and just let my own light shine. Yes. If I worry about all the injustice, I would just crawl into bed and never leave the house again. I honestly don't think it's being ignorant. I like being aware to a point, because it's good just knowing what's going on, but I really feel called to focus my energy on making a difference. Yeah, yay, you've got it. Woohoo! This is so what I want for you. I also want to, okay, I just want to say there too, what did you say? Something, honestly don't think it's been ignorant. Okay, I like to be aware to a point because it's good to know what's going on. Okay, the amazing thing about stepping onto your life purpose, about intuition, about consciousness, about all this stuff, is that when you start focusing on your life purpose and you start trusting in the universe to 100% care for you, provide for you, give you all the answers, blah, 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 or the support, everything you need, is that you also get given any important information that's going on in the world that you need to know. So for example, if like I don't watch the news, I don't buy newspapers, like that went out 12 years ago or something, like I don't watch it. If there's an earthquake, if there's a storm coming, if there's something in the media that I need to know about for whatever reason, I will be down at my local shop and some reason I'm standing and waiting in line for a ridiculous amount of time, and then something comes on the news that I need to see while I'm getting my coffee in the morning. Like, do you know what I mean? Or like I'll be waiting in line somewhere, or I'll be something and someone will I'll overhear them talking about something and it's like really loud. Like all of a sudden that's all I can hear, and what they're saying, their conversation is really clear. Like that's the intuition telling you. And then I might kind of Google it, you know, or for whatever reason that's a big thing about it on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? But I don't like go and like sit there for hours watching it. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, cool, that's going on, and I just am aware. And it also helps, especially with earthquakes and all that sort of thing, that, you know, like when you're feeling like, it's like, okay, what's going on? Okay, it's full moon, right, got that. Is there any earthquakes going on? Right, better check. And I'll just do a quick earthquake check, and I'll see if there's any major earthquakes in my country and neighboring countries, what's going on in the world, right? Because people feel that too, and that goes into the collective, plus the physical vibrations in the earth and all that sort of jazz, right? So really, really awesome to know, you know, like the more you step into trust, which is base chakra, which is life purpose, which is either fear or trust. When you are into trust, everything around you is speaking to you all the time, and hence why my course, Trust Your Intuition, teaches you how to listen to everything around you speaking to you all the time, right? Because then you step into this flow in this space where you just, like, don't even fear. Like, it's just doesn't even come in. Like, even if there was a big natural disaster, like I wouldn't fear, because I'd just be guided 100%. Like, it's just like, oh, this is happening. Like, of course I go through the normal human emotions, and it's what I teach in module 1 so that we know how to handle them, so then we can truly step up and actually do the work still, right? So yeah, so I'm so glad. It sounds like it really helped you tonight, Casey, or this morning for you. I think, oh, you're in Perth, I think I saw. Yeah, you're from Perth. I grew up in Perth. It sounds like it really, you got it tonight. I can feel that in you. So I'm like, yes, you got it. I love that for you, Tamsin, too. You're right on point there. Thanks, Michelle. And it's morning for you, Debbie. So Linda says, I must remember I am not a victim. Yes, I am a powerful creator, 100%. I love the times of clarity. Yes! Wise words I heard recently. Fight or something, not against something. Yeah, fight for something, not against something. It's 100% like Mother Teresa, when she said, you know, like, invite me to an anti-war rally, I will not come. Invite me to a pro-peace rally, and I will be there. And I am 100% the same. I just got goosebumps saying that again. It's 100% that, and it's 100% what I shared in that article. And I'm also going to share, even though you guys have pretty much got the message, if you feel called to watch this other live stream I did, Reclaim Your Power, Focus, Focus, Focus. It is another long live stream because I just talk like I'm sharing here with you guys tonight. I didn't plan to stay on this long, but here I am, and that's okay. Messages need to come out supporting you guys so that you can go and do this too. See how this works, right? I'm following my intuitive call to step up and talk about overwhelm, and here we are talking about this. If you feel called to watch this live stream as well that I just shared on my YouTube link, Reclaim Your Power, is exactly about that, right? Exactly what Mother Teresa said well before her time. Like, it's that space of like whatever we're focusing on, like that's our power. That is literally our power. So when we can honor our soul's calling and what we're being guided to do, like what does my soul want to share with the world today? It could be sleeping, it could be writing a book, it could be live streaming, it could be going to the beach. Like, what does my soul want to do today? The more you trust and listen to that, the more you turn up in alignment with your life purpose. And the more that you are able to, you know, like focus your energy on what you want rather than what you don't want. If we focus on what we do want in the world, which is the peace, rather than the conspiracy and going into like all the bad stuff about it, like let's share what it's actually like, what's the positive aspect of that, or what's my life purpose got to do that's going to help people wake up to the truth or whatever, which is what I do, right? And yeah, it's really, really important. Like, it's 100% that, 100% that. So okay, let me just check these comments. So what is my reality in this present moment and my surroundings? All is well, I am safe. Yeah, 100%, 100%. When we're connected, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear anyway. And that's where shadow work comes in. So the more we integrate our shadow and the more we realize that the darkness is there to wake us up to the light, we don't fear it at all. We're like, oh, some more darkness. Yes, I'm becoming more conscious. All right, I'm going to love you and leave yous. I've got some amazing stuff, and the Life Purpose Mentorship is opening again this week. So you want to keep your eyes open for that. There's some amazing things happening down. Rapid Life Purpose Awakening is about to drop. So if it calls you at all, you are more than welcome to keep your eyes open for that. If you would like a private psychic reading, please send me a message, or if you'd like me as your mentor to work one-on-one with you, please also send me a message. If you think this live stream can help somebody, please share it with them or tag their name in the comments, and I shall see you very soon. Remember, keeping it real as always. Lots of love to you. Namaste.